Hey, everybody, welcome back to our continuing conversations with TapClicks partners. Today, we are diving into Basis Technologies, who you may have known as Centro previously, but this is our ongoing conversations with DSPs who are reinventing themselves in a world that is full of chaos, full of challenges, but new innovations as well. So today we have Tyler Kelly, who is the president for Basis Technologies, on with us. And we're so happy to dig into really what they are now, where they're going and where they've come from, and give you guys kind of a view into why you guys want to be using them, both today and in the future, what they bring to the table and how they're really different in this space. So Tyler, thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
So the elephant in the room right today is the new name. So as everybody has known Centro for the past 20 years, there has been a recent announcement that you guys have a new name. Do you want to talk us through that just real briefly?
Yeah, it really goes back to the beginning. The fact that, when Sean started what was Centro and now Basis Technologies, the idea was always to be a technology company and always to be tech first. $150 million, 16 years later, it takes a lot of effort and work. And so finally realizing that dream, and then realizing and shedding some of those pivots we had done. When we first started, there was a heavy push on local and helping large agencies buy local. Then we really went into services and how do we help service and scale regional agencies and brands. And then now with Basis, we believe we have the right product for the marketplace. We're excited for the future. And we really want to align our product with our overall brand recognition and being Basis Technologies as we move forward.
So this kind of takes us into the question of what is a DSP in this day and age. And you guys have really taken the core of DSP, right? Demand side platforms, inventory, optimization, the basic stuff around campaigns, and you've really taken it to the next level. So as you look back into the simple delivery of campaigns to where you guys are now, it seems like it's been a little bit of an organic development, right? You're delivering campaigns and then you need a little bit more and a little bit more, and the agencies are asking for more help and more help, to the point now where I think DSP, and correct me if I'm wrong, DSP is a part of what you guys do, or maybe even a fraction of what you guys do, and not really what's defining who you are. And that is that kind of where you guys want to be, right? Basis Technologies moving away from the demand side platform that has been historically what you guys have been known for, to now AI, automation, all these other kind of things.
Yeah, I can really walk you through kind of our history, which I think will explain kind of our evolution and how we got to being a DSP, but also why we stuck on our original mission. So Kevin, when I started with Centro, and the reason I really wanted to join was Sean and I had actually worked at Real Media years ago, one of the first ad networks, not to date myself.
Yeah, I remember it.
But it was a great learning. The dot-com bubble bursted. And I did not become rich at the ripe old age of 23. And
you weren't working for Netscape at that time, right?
Right. So
that really dates us.
Yes, it does. It does. But Sean, had this vision, and he was trying to really look at the marketplace and say, what's working and what's not. And it was fascinating to him at the time that these large national agencies, Omnicom, Publicis, did not have the scale in terms of bodies and FTEs to execute digital media at scale. There were so many websites, there were so many different things. Then as you dove deeper into it, realizing that everyone's still operating off Excel and Outlook in 2005. And he's like, this needs a change. There needs to be automation. We need to be able to help agencies scale a very complicated digital markets ecosystem. And that was in 2005.
Right.
You fast forward to 2021, we're still operating mostly off Excel and Outlook to execute digital media campaigns. Now, we obviously have demand side platforms, we have these different things, but for the most part, when you look at a lot of these flow charts and everything else, they're Excel based. And it's just crazy to us that it hasn't changed. And so what happened is, for 2005, we started building our first technology. It's called MMS, Media Management System. Not very creative, but
we love our
it
acronyms,
worked.
don't we?
Yeah, but it had a communication tool. It had an IO-based processing, cloud-based processing capability. And it really helped us scale a lot of that local media buying that we were doing in those early days. And we realized if we could scale the most complicated piece, which was the local media buying, then we could scale the digital industry. So we had MMS. It was great technology. We go out and we want to start selling in 2008. And we realized that we only built it for ourselves. We actually couldn't firewall it. We couldn't actually separate it. And it was kind of the, oh shit moment.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so we went back to the drawing board and we built Transys. Transys was our second version of MMS. It was a great technology. It kind of looked like the old kind of iPad or iPod operating system. It was actually pretty slick. We go to the 4As in 2010, got the matching sweater, right? Big booth, hula hoops. We're going to take over the world.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, 2 booths down from us is Media Math and Term. And it was another kind of oh shit moment, like, oh my gosh, not only are there these DSPs that help automate, but now our largest customer base, which were the holding companies, are now pushing all their dollars over there. And we also get hit because people weren't that interested in automation because they could make extra margin off of moving from ad networks onto these exchanges and DSPs. So we saw our business start eroding and we were like, oh my gosh, what do we do? So we set out and we're like, okay, we need to reevaluate where's this marketplace going and what do we need? And that's when we really said, if we don't have biddable technology at the core of our automation platform, then we're not going to be relevant.
Right.
So we started looking at DSPs to acquire. We looked at the Trade Desk, we looked at Simplify, a lot of these others. We found SiteScout, which was the #1 DSP in Canada. It was very mobile focused. It was kind of one of the newer generation. We felt this was the perfect fit. And so we bought SiteScout in 2013, and we had another inflection point, right? What do we do? Do we just become a DSP? Or do we stick to Sean's original vision, which was, let's automate this industry. You know, let's not just be another point solution, but how do we help on the execution piece to really refine and grow this industry? So that was another big decision. So in 2013, we took everything back down to the studs. So we took our basically automation technology down to the studs plus SiteScout and rebuilt it together. So now we have SiteScout at the core of what Basis Technologies is. But when I talk about Basis to agencies and brands, it's really around the whole picture, right? From the front end governance, making sure things are set up, the taxonomy is right, to communication, vendor directory, making sure you've got everything in one place so you're not going in and out of tons of different technologies. We obviously have the DSP, so you can execute against that digital media. And then we have, you know, insights and reporting that we execute and partner with you guys on, and getting that data then pushed over into more visualization technologies. So that's really our vision. Our vision is to be that kind of core level. We're not going to be a data company. We really want to be that execution. And so that's really where we are today, and why I tell the story, because we are very different than other DSPs, right? Because of the emphasis not just on display media, but also having integrations with search and social, pulling everything into one place. And long term, we just bought Quantic Mind. We want to also have a push capability into search, push capability into social, Facebook, and Instagram. Because once you have that, you brought up AI, right? Then you can start actually utilizing AI in real time cross-channel. And that's going to be really, I think, the next iterations of what we see. And not staying within one channel, but being cross-channel, helping people across the entire digital ecosystem. And that's really what we want Basis to be.
I think that it goes back to one of Sean's comments. As everybody knows, Sean is the CEO and founder, right? We keep referring to him, this mystery person that's not here. You know, one of Sean's initial comments when you guys were first coming out of the ground was the complexity of the marketplace, and kind of the disconnected nature. You talked about a little bit with the holding company agencies. Is this continuing to drive towards that mission of simplification and unification? It sounds like the answer is yes.
Correct. Yes. I think on average now, a media specialist or strategist is going in between like 16 different platforms on a daily basis. It's crazy. You take that, and that's one side. Then you also take on the side of procurement, right? Every agency is getting squeezed for better fees, lower body counts, everything, yet they're being asked to do so much more.
Right.
And
Better insights, better optimizations.
Data driven. Yeah. And it's something's got to give. And so we really believe automation now is what the industry needs. And, if you look at on one side, we talk about DSPs as better. On the other side, there's, the media oceans of the world, right? And Strata, these technologies that have helped on the billing side of it, but they haven't really advanced much in the last 20 years. And so, there is an opportunity, we believe, for more technology to come in and automate a wider scope of the media industry.
Yeah, I think that's desperately needed across the board. I think brands are even looking at that too. As we talk to brands and understand their pain points, they're looking for more automation, better reporting, and better analysis of what they're doing as well. One of the things that you guys have continuously focused on is culture. It's been part of the conversation that Centro has been having for years and years. How are you finding that culture is kind of driving better products for you guys as you've taken this down to the studs, as you said, a number of different times? How has that kind of permeated everything you've done, and where have you seen the benefits?
Yeah, I think someone said this years ago that, the culture at Centro was so strong, and I give Sean, the mythical creature we keep talking about, a ton of credit, right? Because culture starts at the top. Mm-hmm. And when I first came on board, and I was the 6th employee, and so there's only 6 of us, he'd already created a manifesto that really talked about supporting the employee, giving them the resources, the education, and then they're going to work harder for you. And that proved out. So over the years, I talked about a lot of different pivots. And we actually had someone like, if you wanted to start a cruise ship tomorrow, I think the team would do it, because there was really good communication, right? There was good, openness, there was trust. And so as we made these pivots, since Sean had built this open, trustful culture, people knew why we were doing it. It wasn't just knee jerk. There were reasons behind it, and it allowed us to continue to shift. And to be honest, a lot of people say, why have I been here for 16 years? A lot of that is that, right? Because we continue to pivot, we're open, and we have a really good culture. Part of that's great friendships. Part of that is the openness. And I think because of that, it also allows people to have a voice. And so no matter if you're a new person or associate, or you've been here for 16 years, you can offer great ideas and information to make our products better. I always say I love hiring new people because I've been here 16 years. I don't know what I don't know, right? So as we bring more people in, the more educated we get, the better we're going to become. And I think as long as we keep that as the foundation, and that openness and trust and communication, we're going to continue to thrive and create better products because we can pivot.
Are you finding that bleeds over into customer relations as well, and customer retention as you build trust within the organization? It helps develop trust within your clientele as well.
Of course, and we talk about raving fan service, and we talk about going above and beyond. But I also think it's a little bit about everybody pitching it, right? And someone needs me to traffic tags, I'll go and I'll traffic tag. But let's make sure that we're putting our customers, at the forefront. If we do that, our business is only going to grow. Yeah. And I think as long as we're not acting like we're above something or we can't do something, I think our clients really find that endearing, and then everybody's pitching in and trying to help out without naming blame.
Yeah, I think it's more important than ever in this day and age where people do feel disconnected, to have that personal relationship, that personal connection, that you take, customers' pain points and address them. And that's what we find at TapClicks, right? We're addressing pain points head on. And they say, wow, you guys get it. You understand what my day-to-day looks like, and you're helping me get better at doing those things. So that's really
Yeah.
cool.
Now, I think it's going to be interesting for everybody, you guys, everybody that's still somewhat remote and living through this pandemic. How do we keep cultures? What does the culture look like when we move forward?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see us going back to work 5 days a week in an office. So how can we maintain that togetherness, that openness, but within a video world? And I think we're all adjusting, we're all trying to learn, and we're trying to over communicate without creating video overload.
Yeah. And one of the things that we've seen as agencies and brands, like you said, start spreading out and are more remote. We deal with a lot of people in radio and print and TV as well as digital, and you have additional complexities there, bringing all of that data together. The struggles of just bringing the digital data together. We're adding, print and other things to it. But accountability and transparency are some of the key things that we're focused on with the brands and agencies and bringing that together. You guys have additional services that you're adding on top of what you're already doing to bring that additional layer of service and support in. Can you talk a little bit about some of the professional services that are developing both today and in the future with you guys and how that's helping?
Yeah, we talk about as managed activation, right? Because Basis is the core of what we are, and Basis technology is who we are. But in order to do that, and from that origin story I talked about before, we had to build up the really large services team to really keep our business afloat without taking on a ton of financing, diluting a lot of our shareholders. That allowed us to continue to scale and stay on the path that we wanted to be on. And so because of that, we have around 350 people today sitting in managed activation. And what this really makes is a very unique conversation. As I've experienced, and I don't know what you guys are seeing from your agency or even brand side, but for the most part, agencies are still not pulling the self-serve levers, right? There's still a lot of managed DSP going on. I think once you get past the holding companies and the top 500-600 agencies, there's a lot of this mid-market regional agency, which is kind of our core target today, that we want to come in and say, listen, we're going to run it alongside you. We're going to educate you and give you kind of those training wheels to get you up and running to where you can be self-sufficient. Because our goal is to get everybody self-sufficient, getting the best rates, understanding the transparency and control that Basis can provide you. But there's a big educational curve there. And we feel very lucky as a technology company to have such a large services division to really help support anywhere you are in your journey. So whether you don't have anybody who knows how to do it today, or you have 5 people. We also just won the award at Ad Exchanger for the best training and onboarding program. That's so great. We really want to make sure that we're, giving that support through our services side of the business. And we really believe it's that educational curve. And we're still new to this. Yeah. On the brand side, we've had a lot of, brands talking about pulling it in-house. I think that is going to continue on the biddable side. I think brands are always going to need strategic help from agencies. Yeah. I think that's great. And I think agencies are going to flourish when we really balance out what is more automated and autonomous from an AI perspective and what is really strategic, thoughtful brand building as we move forward.
So it seems like you're really trying to help agencies hit scale, right? With the automation. So much of what we hear is that we do the same things we've always done because we don't have enough people to try something new. And with the automation that you guys bring to the table, they can branch out. They can try different avenues. They can try different targeting or different messaging at scale instead of let's A/B test this, and then it's going to take us 6 months to evaluate the data, and then we can make a change. And by that time, the whole market is pivoted 180 degrees and any of your data is obsolete.
Right.
So mid-market agencies, mid-market brands need that fast ability to try things, pivot, change, and address the market as it changes very rapidly around them.
Correct. And we believe, Basis is that core mechanism, right? That they can execute all these different things, do the A/B testing you're talking about, whether it's in the DSP, whether it's buying site direct, or whether it's looking at search social in a full funnel approach to really create that efficiency and that performance that brands are striving for today.
Yeah, that's great. I think that really hits the nail on the head with the pain points that are in the market today. We didn't talk about this before, but what about expanding out beyond the United States and kind of where we have traditionally been focused? I know a lot of brands are looking to expand their borders and go even into Canada or Mexico or Western UK area, etc. How are you guys looking at international traffic as well as US traffic and in the future?
Yeah, from a traffic perspective or inventory perspective, we have European, a lot of Latin America, a lot of North American inventory. So right now we already feel like we're pretty global, even APAC, in what Basis has to deliver today. From a presence right now, we're just in Latin America. And the big reason that is currency and currency and time zone. So those are the two areas that we're working diligently on today to make sure that, because Basis is so robust, because we are doing more than just DSP, we got to make sure that currency carries through the entire platform. And that is easier said than done, that I'm finding out. And even time zone is very difficult to do. But those are the two aspects. Once we do that, we do have a desire to become more international in presence and to be able to create kind of this service technology brand across the entire globe long term.
Great. And speaking of long term, besides expanding that piece, what are some of the other or can you even talk to some of the long term prospects that you guys have? I know some of it's behind closed doors, but
yeah,
where do you see this going?
Yeah, I focus in a couple main areas. We touched on international. Another area that we spend a lot of time is automation. The more that we can automate. And so we are always looking at, we already have a lot of this in place, but how do we continue to get better at pacing, optimization, billing reconciliation? I bring those three up because
billing is always a nightmare, isn't it?
It is. When if you think about it, we hire all these, I don't want to say kids, but young adults out of college who just spent $100 and whatever $1,000 for this great education, and we have them really doing those three things.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of people. And they're not using their brains. And our hope is, how do we continue to automate that to where when the next generation comes in, they actually can hit the ground running with thinking strategically versus just kind of going through the motions and data jockeying, right? Because a lot of that's happening today. So automation is very core to where we want to go. Intelligence, you brought kind of AI up. We have AI within our DSP. Like I mentioned earlier, as we continue to go cross-channel, how do we start applying AI cross-channel to get smarter, better, making faster transactions? And, I'd say those are kind of the three areas that we focus a lot. And then we're always looking to upgrade, whether it's our data partnerships, our integrations across different technology sources. We want to make Basis that core that you live in, but that we plug and play with a lot of different technology vendors, because we know we're not thinking everyone's just going to live within Basis, right? People are going to want to use multiple DSPs. We want Basis to be the connector and really allow this industry to scale, knowing that it's going to be partnership driven as well.
That's great. That's great. And I'm sure the culture is going to permeate all of those new things you guys are attacking as well with
we hope so.
Open arms and open minds in terms of new developments. So fantastic. Well, thanks so much. I mean, it's fantastic what you guys are doing, and we're so excited to be partnered with you as you guys continue to evolve and move this forward. So I think it's a great opportunity for agencies of all size to come and take advantage of what you guys have and are developing and continue to develop, from professional services to help people get going to the automation to really help them hit scale. Sounds like a fantastic thing you guys have built there.
Thank you so much. And thanks, Kevin, so much for having me on today and to really talk about Basis, the brand. We're not changing who we are at core. We're changing the name. And really, I think, going into the future that we've always wanted to be, which is a technology business to help agencies and brands scale. So
excellent.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thanks, everybody, for joining. We'll see you next time here. All right. Perfect.
Awesome.
How'd it go?
I think it was good. Is that all right?
Yo, perfect. Yeah. Hit on all the topics. And, I just like to set just general guidelines and not real rigid, because I just like to let the conversation go where it goes. And you were perfect. I just kind of plugged in a few points here and there, and you filled in the details. So that was great.
Well, I appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of the week.
Yeah, here's the next steps with this. So we're going to package this up, and then we're going to put some promo against it and
Okay.
run that out there. We'll give you all the assets and everything, and who we've sent it out to, etc. We'll give you the video. You guys could use it as well for promotion if you want to use it, etc. So it's 100% transparent. There's nothing we keep from you guys. And we're looking to develop this into a podcast as well. So we could take the audio for this and run it into a podcast and put it out there. But yeah, I think it was perfect. I think it was great.
Great.